मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में बात करने के बाद आइए हम मिलते हैं हम अपने अगले सुपर वुमन से। वो एक फिलॉन्थ्रोपिस्ट हैं, एक एंटरप्रेन्योर हैं, जरीना स्क्रूवाला, जो को-फाउंडर हैं स्वदेश फाउंडेशन के। स्वदेश फाउंडेशन काम करता है लोगों की लाइफ को एम्पावर करना। तो मिलते हैं जरीना से, जिनका मानना है लिविंग लाइफ विद अ पर्पस अलॉन्ग विद पैशन। Thank you so much for speaking with us. It's always a pleasure to have you with us on a campaign, and it's been a long journey, 10 years.
Yes.
But to begin with, I would like to ask you, after launching so many television channels, what really led to the inception of Swasth and the whole, how it's grown out today when we see the 360-degree model of development? Please share that with us.
Sure. So it's been a wonderful journey, and I think we've been associated also for 10 years.
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken,
yeah.
Yes.
Since when the toilet started
That's
getting
right,
and
2012-ish, 2013, that time, and it's been a wonderful 10 years. Of course, Swasth is much older, but it was renamed and rechristened 10 years ago when we decided to expand our dream, if you like, and our dream really was to empower and lift 1 million people out of poverty every 5 years. That is our stated dream. Have we achieved it? Not yet. But we're well on the mark. We're well on the way, I'd say. Our reach now is 750,000 people. And our idea is to really create this model of development which is replicable and scalable and sustainable. And the key to that, we have found over these years, is community empowerment. The center is community empowerment. That's one principle of ours. The other thing that we deeply believe in is, as you mentioned, the 360-degree model. And Amika, when we started, everyone laughed at us. Everyone said, how ridiculous. You should do one thing and do it well. And in fact, we did a study of many NGOs and many not-for-profits and government work and multiple things. Government, of course, does everything. But most not-for-profits at that time did one thing, and they advised us to do one thing.
But they're all related. So they're all related.
The point is that there's no silver bullet to poverty alleviation. There's no one thing you can say, you do that one thing, and because our goal is to lift people out of poverty.
So, of course, sanitation, health, they're all connected. If education is, the women are educated, the girls are educated, it leads on to better livelihoods. It's all connected. I think the whole 360-degree approach.
Absolutely.
But since it's a Women's Day special, before we talk about what Swasth is doing and the whole approach, tell us as a woman leader. You've also seen the world the other side. You've seen it there, and now today, when you're working with the communities, trying to empower them, share with us some learnings as well as challenges along the way.
Absolutely. So I think one of our greatest learnings, and maybe you'll agree with me, is that empowered women in rural India, I can say for sure, are the best change makers. If we empower them, the whole community changes. And we have multiple examples of this, If you empower them financially, if you empower them to have a voice in the village, the whole village changes in very wonderful ways.
We do talk about it, sustainable development goals and, achieving gender equality, but we see many times it starts from the womb, still in India still it happens. So what are your observations when we talk about gender equality?
So I think the concept of equality starts in the mind. First, we need to empower our women and men. So start working with them to empower them in their minds. Train them to see themselves as change makers, as leaders of the change. Include the men to allow the women to blossom, and we have done that actually in the last 10 years, and it has worked. We've done it with our Swasth Mitra program, and just to give you one example of someone we honored, there's this lady called Vidya Kule. Now Vidya Kule is somebody who I had met when we first started the Swasth Mitra program 10 years ago. It was our earliest program when we really didn't know if it would work or not, and you won't believe it, I was just speaking to them via Zoom today because I couldn't go, and she was there. I didn't know she was there, but I mentioned her as an example. She cried, because I gave this example of her. She was a widow. She became a Swasth Mitra. She started really helping our village, especially with tuberculosis. She really helped to cure many people of tuberculosis, which is a long drawn out disease. Finally, she became a sarpanch of the village.
So that, I mean, that much you empowered her,
That's
or
right.
that much you empowered a woman, and the change they can really bring about. So we talk about what other issues do you see, because you're working with women on the ground, you're working with the community. So tell us some more issues that you think need to be spoken about.
Yes, I think besides empowerment, which is the essence and the key, I think lack of water and sanitation. You know, it may be surprising to some people, Ambika, but the lack of water and sanitation actually creates tremendous amount of gender inequality. And how does this happen? Okay, let's consider a village that has no water. Who's fetching the water? The women.
The women walk.
Not just the women. The eldest girl child is also walking. She's also not going to school in order to fetch water. And I assure you that at least in Maharashtra where we work, it's not because of really inequalities. It's because the man is out there working and earning. Who's to go? So the woman goes. Yes, you know.
And then they're walking
they're walking for 2.5 hours. They come back exhausted. They sometimes fall. We've had lots of sad stories about this. The weight of the water that they bring. Sometimes they even do this twice a day. Sometimes it's not 2.5 hours, it's 5 hours because they have to go twice. That's one. So the clean drinking water with a tap in the home is like a dream for them. Okay, it has health issues, multiple issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Toilets. Again, think about it, Ambika. We don't have a toilet in your own home. Okay. You will go out, this is what the women do. They go out at 4 in the morning, they go to the toilet in the dark, they can't see, there are scorpions, snakes, other issues over there. And then they go to the toilet at 11 in the night after sunset, after giving their families dinner. So from 4 in the morning to 11 in the night, they do not go to the toilet.
Which is so bad
you can
for
imagine its health, dignity, safety of women. So water and toilet is priceless.
I mean, like you rightly said, I think it's a very important, we take it for granted. Many of us, you know, who think of water, toilet.
We can't
But
imagine.
these are basics, and definitely what you pointed out, Zarina, it's again, this is where gender again comes in, because the women are impacted. Men can use, you know, can go out anytime.
They do.
Yeah,
in fact, they do. It's not that, you know, it's not true to say that the men are not impacted. It's also very valuable for them. Young boys. And I remember we had Mr. Bachchan come to visit our village, and we were in a school. And you know, and the girls came and talked to him about toilets and how important it was to them. This little boy, I also like to use the toilet because I'm scared of the snakes.
Oh, okay.
The little boy came and said, you know. So
no, men and boys are impacted, but again, it falls a little more on women in that way. Like, though, of course, saying that, I mean, clean water, sanitation, toilets, these are basic rights. I mean, and this is what, when we talk about health for all, that's what our campaign, you know, this year is talking about. These are very basic things. And again, reaching out to the marginalized, to the underprivileged, I think that is key. But what you said, something which I would like to just, if I think about it, the eldest girl child goes with the mother to get water. Talking about education, something very close to your heart, girl child. We know it impacts the economies, it makes a difference in creating healthier families, countries. But do you, how important a step do you feel or you think it should be taken when we talk about gender equality when it comes to education, in all aspects?
It's vital. And again, Ambika, I want to reiterate 2 aspects that I think is very important that in the work we do. See, I can only speak with authority about what we do and what I have learned, okay? So it's not to say that only Swasth is doing good work, not at all. There's so many people, so many NGOs doing fantastic work, you know? But what I have learned is, again, water and sanitation in the school impacts the, you know, Dasra had done a report in 2018 that says 23 million girls don't go to school during their adolescence. They drop out because of this one reason.
Zarina, I want to ask you something again. As a nation, when we talk about best global practices, it's Swasth, you all have been doing this for years. There's so many NGOs as well. Talking about global practices, how important is, let me put it, public-private partnerships, corporates, while people need to take responsibility as well, but how important do you think everybody should collaborate towards a healthier India or a better India?
So, Ambika, I think there's no other way to do it. What we have found is that while the government does a lot, and they really try very hard, we have found amazing, literally heroes in our village, in the villages. But what happens is, we have found that the community doesn't trust the government.
Okay.
And I think one of the greatest roles is to bridge that gap, bring them together.
Zarina, it's been a pleasure to speak with you, and it's been so inspiring to hear. I'm emotional when you say certain things. It really makes me think, and I'm sure all of us are thinking that few things what you said really leaves an impact on our minds, and what little bit we can do to make a difference. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zarina.